In House of the Dragon Season 3, many main characters will die, some of them being Rhaenyra's oldest son and heir Prince Jacaerys Velaryon, when he dies riding dragon into battle, Alicent's daughter and King Aegon's wife, poor and innocent Queen Helaena, when she takes her own life amid all the chaos and heartbreak, and finally the character which many fans hate and pray for his death, the Kingmaker, Criston Cole, Hand of the King, and the commander of King Aegon's armies will die when he meets Cregan Stark's Winter Wolves and Rivermen. Let's start with Criston Cole's death. Sir Criston Cole, also known as the Kingmaker, is a knight of House Cole, Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, and Hand of the King under Aegon II Targaryen. Criston is on the march towards Harrenhal, the biggest castle in Westeros, which is under Daemon's control, and in which Daemon has gathered a huge army of Rivermen for Queen Rhaenyra. As Aemon said it himself, when the time is right, he will join Criston, and together they will take Harrenhal back from Daemon. The Greens have two armies marching into the Riverlands, the one led by Criston and the other by Jason Lannister. While Lord Jason Lannister marches toward the God's Eye with a host of Westermen, Criston is also marching towards it with another 4,000 Greens, and in Season 3, Aemon will join them on Vugger. Jason Lannister's forces won't be of much help to Criston, as the Lannister army will be destroyed in a battle against Cregan Stark's Winter Wolves, who will join forces with the Rivermen. Early in Season 3, after defeating Sir Oswald Woade and Lords Darry and Root by the shores of the God's Eye, Criston's host will find Harrenhal to have been abandoned by Daemon when they finally arrive at the castle. Aemon sees it as a great victory, but is outraged upon learning that while he was flying to Harrenhal to challenge Daemon and destroy him and his dragons and his army, Daemon had flown away on Caraxes to aid Rhaenyra with the fall of King's Landing. This was exactly what Daemon had hoped for, to lure Aemon away from King's Landing, leaving only a skeleton defense force behind, enough that a smaller force from Dragonstone and Driftmark could quickly seize the capital using dragons and the Valyrian fleet. Combined with the betrayal of the City Watch, who are still loyal to Daemon, early on in Season 3, the city will fall within a single day with little fighting. Meanwhile, Daemon's army at Harrenhal does not simply wait for Criston and Aemon to arrive, but they abandon Harrenhal to attack the Lannister army in the west. They succeed in annihilating the entire Lannister host in the battle by the lakeshore, though with heavy losses. In response to the Blacks' victories, Criston will urge Aemon to retreat south and join the host of Greens led by Lord Aemond Hightower and Prince Daeron Targaryen. Aemon refuses, however, and decides to instead burn the Riverlands with Vaegar's Dragonflame, parting ways with Cole and leaving him vulnerable and unprotected from the sky. Criston will march south from Harrenhal with his remaining host of 3,600 Greens to join the Hightower host, traveling along the western shore of the God's Eye. Criston's enemies, the River Lords, will practice scorched earth tactics, burning their own forests and villages to deny Criston and his army supplies. The Blacks will also use guerrilla warfare against the Greens, and by the day more of Criston's host will desert or join the Blacks. On one occasion, Criston's army will come across a grisly display of feasting corpses, the bodies of men who had fallen at the battle by the lakeshore. Later at the village of Crossed Elms, Criston's forces will be attacked by Blacks disguised as corpses, losing 12 men before realizing Black Trombo's ambush. While marching from the God's Eye to the Blackwater Rush, Criston's weakened host is met at a ridge by an army of thousands of soldiers loyal to Rhaenyra and outnumbered 2-1, made of Cregan Stark's Winter Wolves and of the Rivermen, led by Sir Garibald Grey, Sir Pate of Longleaf, and Lord Roderick Dustin. Criston will hold a parley with the three leaders. Criston offers to surrender if they promise to spare the lives of his men, but he is refused. Criston will say, "If I strike my banners, do you promise us our lives?" Garibald will respond with, "I made my promise to the dead. I told them I would build a sept for them out of traitors' bones. I don't have near enough bones yet, so..." Criston then says, "If there is to be battle here, many of your own will die as well." To which Roderick Dustin, leader of the Stark's Winter Wolves, says, "That's why we come. Winter's here. Time for us to go. No better way to die than sword in hand." Criston then finally says, "As you will it. We can begin here, the four of us. One of me against the three of you. Will that be enough to make a fight of it?" Pate responds with, "I'll want 3 more. I'll have no songs about how brave you died, Kingmaker. There's tens of thousands dead on your account." One of the leaders, Pate the Lionslayer, denies Criston the fight and instead orders Robb Rivers and his archers to strike down Criston the Kingmaker with arrows. When Criston dies, Winter Wolves will sound the charge of the Black's vanguard, which consists of Stark soldiers and the River Knights. The Greens quickly collapse. Hundreds of Criston's men are then killed by the Rivermen and Winter Wolves in the ensuing Butcher's Ball. Criston's head will then be brought on a spear to the First Battle of Tumbleton. That's how Criston Cole's story will play out, and that's how Criston dies towards the end of Season 3. The one who will die in the early episodes of Season 3 is Prince Jacaerys with his dragon Vermax. Jacaerys will die in the bloodiest sea battle in Westeros history, in which 5 dragons and hundreds of ships will participate. Season 2, Episode 8 was a prelude to the Battle of the Gullet, in which we saw the Triarchy sailing towards the Gullet to break Corlys Velaryon's fleet, while Sea Snake is also sailing towards it to strengthen it. And on top of that, Rhaenyra's young children are unknowingly sailing straight towards the Triarchy fleet where they will be captured, which then causes Jace and other dragon riders to mount their dragons and fight. All of this is going to happen in the beginning of Season 3, and Battle of the Gullet will be the biggest battle of the entire season, which is going to be filled with battles. Battle of the Gullet will see the death of Jacaerys and his dragon, and the abduction of Rhaenyra's young son, Prince Viserys. In the prelude of the battle, we will also lose another dragon, Prince Aegon Stormcloud. Rhaena sent Rhaenyra's children, Aegon and Viserys, along with a small dragon Stormcloud and dragon eggs off to Pentos on a ship, following Rhaenyra's instructions, but not protecting them herself. Instead of going with them, Rhaena went on to claim a wild dragon sheep stealer, and once she claims the dragon, instead of flying to protect them, she will fly to join Rhaenyra and others in taking King's Landing. This will turn out to be a grave mistake, as the Triarchy ships are sailing straight towards them. On their way there, they will intercept the ship carrying 2 of Rhaenyra's sons, Princes Aegon and Viserys. Aegon will escape atop Stormcloud, but Viserys only has a dragon egg. When the news of this reached Prince Jacaerys at Dragonstone, while everyone else is fighting for King's Landing, Jace will fly his dragon into battle alone, wasting no time in his effort to save his little brothers, while sending Baela to get the word to others. Jacaerys immediately mounts Vermax and flies to one of the bloodiest sea battles in all of history. Before the battle begins, Sheriko Lohar divides the Triarchy's ships into 2 squadrons, entering the Gullet to the north and south of Dragonstone. They attack at sunrise, surprising Corlys Velaryon's fleet. When Jacaerys and Vermax arrive, they burn many ships, but in their rage, they fly too low, and Jace's dragon is hooked by a grapnel, which is tied to one of the ships, and the dragon is then dragged down into the water with a terrible wound. Just when the others arrive on Rhaenyra's orders, such as Adam on Sea Smoke, Ulf on Silverwing, Hugh on Vermithor, and Rhaena on Sheepstealer to help Jace, they will arrive just on time to see Jace's dragon crash into the wreckage of another ship, get tangled up, and is pulled into the depths with the burning ship when it sinks. Jace, meanwhile, manages to jump free of Vermax's saddle and get to some wreckage to stay afloat. Jace will then die a horrible death, with Triarchy sailors shooting him full of crossbow bolts before he too sinks into the ocean and is never seen again. Last character we will include in this video is Queen Helaena. Helaena Targaryen, sister of King Aegon and Prince Aemond, will die when she throws herself from her window in the Red Keep, straight into the spikes below. This has been leaked and confirmed to happen in Season 3 by none other than George R.R. Martin himself, the man who wrote the books on which both Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon are based, when he revealed the showrunner's Season 3 outline. George R.R. Martin's recent blog post saw him complaining about the show for changing too much from his source material and then spoiling a major upcoming moment. He outright confirmed Helaena dies in Season 3, which he knows because Ryan Condal, the showrunner, wrote it in his Season 3 outline and revealed that Helaena Targaryen's death would essentially be caused by nothing, saying, in Ryan's outline for Season 3, Helaena still kills herself, for no particular reason. There is no fresh horror, no triggering event to overwhelm the fragile young queen. So Helaena dies in Season 3 the same way she dies in the book. But as George says, the only difference is that her death makes sense in his books, unlike it does not, or rather will not, in House of the Dragon. In the book, Helaena is affected by Blood and Cheese, in which she loses one of her sons, and then later when she loses other son as well, she simply cannot take it anymore and decides to end it all. On the show, Helaena is not that much affected by Blood and Cheese. And on top of that, she doesn't even have another son who was supposed to die as well. the show will handle this differently. Later in Season 3, Helaena, who unlike in the book has been made into a dragon dreamer on the show and can see visions of future, Helaena will start seeing more and more violence as the Targaryen civil war plays out. Helaena will see more and more deaths in her visions. This kind of terror is hard for anyone to see, especially when it's members of your own family, and combined with her personal tragedies, she will take her own life. Helaena jumps from the window of her room in Maegor's Holdfast. She dies immediately on the spikes below, with her throat impaled, only 21 years old. At the moment of Helena's death, her dragon Dreamfire suddenly rises and snaps two of her chains, and roars loud enough to shake the dragon pit. What happens next in Season 3 at this point is that false rumors start to spread across King's Landing that Rhaenyra ordered Helena's death and she was pushed on her orders, which then causes huge riots and leads to a mob attacking and overwhelming the dragon pit where many of Targaryen dragons are residing and many Targaryen dragons die. It also leads to the mob overthrowing Rhaenyra from the Iron Throne. There you have it, guys. 3 leaked deaths that will happen in House of the Dragon Season 3. Criston Cole, Jacaerys Targaryen, and Helaena Targaryen will die in the upcoming season. Let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comments section down below. Please like and subscribe.